this video is going to be another goodbye or goodbye video. So this time, pag-uusapan ko yung isa sa mga pinakamalaking conglomerates or holding companies dito sa Pilipinas and isa sa mga stocks na nagbibigay ng regular dividends, no, with high dividend yield. So, walang iba kundi yung Lusutan Group or LTG. So, in this video, I'll share my thoughts if LTG is a good buy or a goodbye for me. So, first things first, disclaimer lang, the analysis and opinions that are discussed in this video and pretty much the things I discuss sa channel na to are for educational purposes only and should not in any way be considered as financial or investment advice. Trading and investing both have risks, which means it could lead to potential losses. So make sure to do your own research and due diligence before making any personal financial decision. So if you were able to watch my previous videos, you know that when I talk about goodbye or goodbye videos, divided to into 3 parts. So it will be divided into facts. So I'll talk about most of the objective things regarding this specific stock. And the second part, yung speculation, I'll be talking about the subjective side of things, no? Kung ano yung tingin ko about sa stock na to. And the third part, of course, yung technicals. So I'll be talking about the stock in terms of price action. I'll review the charts kung ano yung mga nakikita kong important key levels niya and possible trends, no, in the short term, medium term, and long term. So punta na tayo regarding sa facts surrounding LTG. So kung matagal ka na nag-invest or you already have significant exposure pagdating sa stock market, you already know what LTG is. But baka hindi mo pa alam yung kabuuan ng mga negosyo ng LTG, no? So, this is a screenshot, no, coming from their website mismo. And ito yung mga subsidiaries nila, no, na under sa company. So, meron silang segment when it comes to beverages. So, meron ding distilled spirits, no? And meron din silang exposure pagdating sa property development and of course, banking. And I think isa sa mga pinakakilala, no, kung saan talaga yung LTG is with regards to the tobacco industry, no, or tobacco segment nila. So, as of December 12, year to date, no, YTD, yung performance ng LTG is more than 30%. So, compared to the overall market, that's definitely an outlier kasi yung market walang ibang ginawa kundi bumaba or mag-sideways, di ba? Tapos yung LTG, consistent siya na throughout the year, pataas talaga. And over the past few years, no, yung LTG nung 2023 gave out around 1.20 pesos per share. Tapos, last year, 2024, nagbigay siya ng 1.25 per share, which is, of course, an increase of 4.2%. And for 2025, although unchanged, no, compared sa last year, 1.25 per share pa rin, that's still significant, no? And it just goes to show us na talagang mataas yung dividends na binibigay ng LTG relative sa price niya and relative sa other stocks na nasa PSE. So, of course, the big question is, why is this happening? No? Bakit ang ganda ng performance ng LTG? And bakit ganito yung nabibigay nila na dividends? So, of course, in order to understand why is this happening, we of course need to know how LTG makes money. Kasi, syempre, yung revenue at income naman yung source ng dividends nila and primarily the driver kung bakit gumaganda yung stock performance nila, no? So, syempre, as mentioned earlier, andito yung banking segment, yung tobacco, right, or smoking, yung distilled spirits nila, and beverages. So, whether that's alcoholic or non-alcoholic, no? And meron din nga silang exposure sa property and a very small percentage with regards to milling. So, here's a donut chart of the net income breakdown ng LTG, no, for 2025. So, makikita natin dito kung gaano kalaki yung percentage breakdown ng specific segments ng LTG na nagko-contribute sa overall income nila. So, pag tinignan mo kaagad tong chart na to and you look at the legend, and if you look at the label or the legend box, no, sa lower left, you can immediately see that there are 2 segments that provide the majority of the net income ng LTG, which is of course yung banking segment na 46% and yung tobacco segment na nasa 36%. So, why is LTG up year to date and continues to pay these type of dividends? So, the main contributor for this is of course PNB. So, LTG kasi owns nearly 60% of Philippine National Bank. And yung PNB has been increasing in stock price, no? Year to date, more than 80%. So, more than double yung mismong performance ng LTG na nasa more than 30%. So, nearly times 3 nung performance, no? So, what's the reason why PNB has been increasing ng nearly 90% year to date? So, year on year, meron silang plus 20% earnings, no? Nag-grow yung earnings. Tapos, driven by higher net interest income, tapos lower loan loss provisions, and nagkaroon sila ng improvement, no, pagdating sa trading and forex gains. So basically, PNB became an outlier and good performance yung ginawa ng PNB, no, this year, and I'd say even for 2024. So aside sa banking, sabi nga natin kanina, the second major contributor to LTG's net income is the tobacco segment. So alam naman natin yung PMFTC, no, which is of course an affiliate of Philip Morris International. So PMFTC stands for Philip Morris Fortune Tobacco Corporation. And imposibleng hindi mo alam yung mga brands na to, right? Yung Marlboro and Philip Morris, no, more of the pricier side of things pagdating sa mga cigarettes. And of course, yung pangmasa or yung lower end ng products nila is of course yung Fortune, right? So, PMFTC has around 47% market share pagdating sa cigarette industry, no, sa Philippines. So, you could say na near monopoly status, no? So, halos kalahati na sila yung talagang kilalang brand when it comes to cigarette smoking in the Philippines. And aside from that, near monopoly status, meron din silang new growth push. So, they're actually innovating and bringing in new products sa market like Iluma, which is in a way parang ano nila, e-cigarette or non-smoking na variant ng product nila. Tapos, meron din nicotine pouches. And of course, sinong hindi nakakakilala, 'di ba, sa Tanduay? So, more than a century already. Isa sa mga pinakakilalang rum na brand sa Philippines, no? So, Tanduay. And Tanduay actually has 38%, no, nearly 40% nationwide market share, no, pagdating dito sa mga alcoholic drinks na to. And you could say that they have a monopoly pagdating sa market share sa mga provinces, lalo na sa Visayas and Mindanao. So sa Visayas alone, that's around 70%. Tapos sa Mindanao, that's around 80%. And Tanduay actually had a 59% earnings jump, no? So talagang nakapag-contribute ito sa revenue tapos net income mix ng LTG. And pagdating naman sa beverages nila, so that's Asia Brewery Incorporated. Ito yung mga example, no, ng mga products na meron sa kanila under sa subsidiary na to. So, more than 4 decades already in the Philippines. So, I'm sure kilala nyo yung mga brands na yan. And Cobra, no, isa sa mga pinaka kilalang low-cost na energy drinks dito sa market, has about 50 to 60% market share sa Philippines. And Absolute and Summit rank consistently sa top 3 ng bottled water or mineral water sa Philippines. So, you can say na meron talaga silang stronghold, no, pagdating sa mga products na to. So, let's move naman sa second part ng video na to, which is about the speculation, no, or the speculative nature of the stock. So, this is more of a subjective thing where I'll share my opinions on what's happening or what's about to happen sa LTG. So, una kong gustong pag-usapan yung mga risks, no? Kasi napag-usapan na natin kung gaano kaganda tapos kung gaano kagaling yung nagagawa ng LTG, which explains the increase in stock price and the dividends, diba? So, earlier, I showed you this slide. Banking makes up 46% of LTG net income, tobacco segment 36%. So, I'll just add up itong sa Tanduay, which is around 11% of LTG net income. So, if you combine these three, you'll come up with this number, 93% of net income. So, that basically means banking, smoking, and drinking greatly affects LTG, no? And this is ranked according to importance because mas malaki yung share ng banking sa net income ng LTG, pangalawa yung smoking, and pangatlo yung drinking. So, whenever positives or negatives affect these three industries, asahan mo na may effect yon sa price ng LTG, of course. So, una muna sa banking, no? Since we're talking about risks here. If I ask you this question, what are the top 2 banks in the Philippines, no? Imposibleng hindi mo alam. Kahit bago ka pa lang sa market or kahit matagal ka na, and I'm sure even if hindi ka pa exposed sa Philippine stock market before, alam mo naman na yung sagot dito. So, of course, that's BDO and BPI. Now, you can be technical about it. Pwede mo sabihin na pasok pa dyan yung land bank. But if we're going to look at it sa objective sense lang, no? Sa objective side of things, yung land bank kasi is a government-owned and controlled bank, diba? In a way, meron silang monopoly pagdating sa assets tapos money flow pagdating sa gobyerno. So, we're just talking about the private sector here and alam nyo naman na BDO and BPI yung mga giants pagdating sa banking, right? BPI, of course, backed by the Ayala Group and BDO backed by the SM Group, no? So, no bank, no, comes close to these giants and their influence. But if I ask you, what are the top 3 to 5 banks in the Philippines? Ito na siguro yung up for debate, no? And a lot of people can argue depending on the metrics that they use. But of course, if you look at the other banks aside from BDO and BPI, ito lang naman yung mga alam natin na popular na banks, no, na pwedeng nakikita natin sa mga commercials, sa mga ads, no, whenever we are on the road, ito yung makikita natin. And for some of you guys, no, na may more than 2 or 3 bank accounts, sigurado, meron kayong mga accounts sa mga bangko na to. So, if we're going to look at it sa assets lang nila, here's a pie chart that shows us or illustrates kung gaano kalaki itong mga bank na to. So, for BDO Unibank, no, nakikita natin na yung total assets niya around 4.9 trillion. And the second one is BPI with around 3.4 trillion. And the third one, Metro Bank, around 3.18 trillion. And China Bank, 1.8, RCBC, 1.4, Security Bank, nasa ganun din, 1.49, and number 7, PNB, around 1.2 trillion, and yung mga medyo maliliit na bank, Union Bank, 907 billion, East West 500, AUB nearly 400 billion. So, kitang-kita natin na BDO at BPI yung malaki and medyo malapit yung Metro Bank, no? Pero yung iba, hindi mo alam, depende kung may pwedeng mangyari diyan, pwedeng magkaroon ng differences, no, in terms of assets. Depende kung paano sila ma-manage, no? So, the big question is, can PNB take market share from the other banks? So, kaya bang kunin, no, ng PNB yung mga clients ng mga ibang bangko na to, 'di ba? Kaya ba nilang ma-outperform itong mga bangko na to? Because I don't think na kaya nilang labanan, no, yung BPI at BDO. Unless, of course, magkaroon ng mismanagement or magkaroon ng issues sa BPI or BDO fundamentally para mag-open up yung opportunity na yon for these other banks, no? Or will other banks reduce the share of PNB? So, di natin alam, 'di ba? Pwedeng may magawang innovation yung BDO, yung BPI, since meron silang funds, since sila yung mas malaki, pwedeng mas may magawa silang mas maganda tapos makakuha pa sila ng further clients away, no, from these smaller banks. Or di kaya itong mga banks na to na nasa top 3 to top 10, may magawa silang way din para sila yung maging legit na top 3 or top 4, 'di ba? So, yun yung nakikita kong possible risk for PNB. So, pagdating naman sa second segment ng LTG, so kanina pinag-usapan natin yung banking. Now, ngayon, pag-usapan naman natin yung pagdating sa smoking, no? So, the first risk that LTG is facing for the past couple of years is decreasing market share. So, you might ask, paano naging decreasing market share? Earlier sa video na to, I said that PMFTC has a near monopoly sa market ng cigarettes dito sa Philippines, diba? Nasa 47% nga, no? But actually, so several years ago, nakalagay nga dito sa article ng Inquirer, so dated 2021, yung PMFTC actually had a 70.5% market share sa tobacco market sa Philippines, no, several years ago. So, ibig sabihin lang yan, yung market share nila 70%. So, meron talaga silang monopoly. So, sila talaga yung may stronghold, no, sa cigarette making or cigarette products dito sa Philippines. Tapos ngayon, nag-less than 50% pa. So, ibig sabihin nasa from 70% naging 47% na lang, no? So, the question is, why the drop? Bakit nag-decrease yung market share nila? The main reason for that is because competition. And sino ba yung nakikipag-compete sa LTG pagdating sa cigarette industry? So, una, andyan yung JTI or yung Japan Tobacco International. So, ito yung mga kilalang brands nila, no? Winston and Camel. So, ayan yung somehow lumalaban sa Marlboro and Philip Morris na brands nila. Tapos, meron din silang product na panglaban sa low-end market, sa pangmasa na market, which is of course Mighty na brand, no? The third one, maybe a lot of you guys don't know this, no? So, meron kasi tayong mga illegal or mga illicit na cigarettes na pumapasok sa Pilipinas. And isa nga tong article, no, na nailabas ng Bureau of Customs as they intensify the crackdown on illicit trade, and they uncovered smuggled cigarettes worth 600 million in Bulacan. So, this past August. So, of course, hindi lang ito yan. Siyempre, sobrang daming way kung paano magpasok ng mga smuggled goods dito sa Pilipinas, diba? So, hindi lang yan worth 600 million. No? So, billions in terms of products yung pumapasok sa Pilipinas na illegal. So, syempre, magiging competition yon ng PMFTC because, una sa lahat, since they are smuggled, hindi sila nagbabayad ng tax. Hindi sila dumadaan sa mga regulations na kung saan mapapabayad ng fees. So, sa madaling sabi, itong mga products na to, nabibenta ng sobrang mura. So, syempre, kung ikaw smoker ka, tapos nag-i-increase na yung prices ng cigarettes, no, because of the taxes, yung sin tax, tapos syempre kailangan mag-profit ng mga malalaking companies, 'di ba? So, pwedeng palitan mo yung brand na ginagamit mo at dito ka na pumunta kasi mas mura tapos halos same lang din yung nabibigay na effect sa'yo, 'di ba? So, syempre, itong mga illegal at mga illicit products na to can directly compete with the low-end na mga products like yung Fortune and Mighty, diba? So, here's what the cigarette market share breakdown looks like in the Philippines. So, that's 47% PMFTC, roughly 38% for JTI, and nasa 15% yung illicit or illegal na cigarettes. So, basically what this means is for LTG, nagdi-decrease yung share nila sa pie, right? Because if the government doesn't intensify its crackdown on illicit and illegal cigarettes, pwedeng mag-increase pa yung market share ng mga cigarettes na to kasi yung PMFTC can't compete with those cigarette products kung magiging sobrang mura nila tapos nag-i-increase yung price ng products ng PMFTC, right? And andun din yung aspect na kung saan yung JTI pwedeng maglabas sila ng mga bagong products or makakuha sila ng much larger market share sa PMFTC kung mas magiging mura yung products nila, no? So, yan yung significant na risk pagdating sa tobacco segment ng LTG. So, the second risk when it comes to the tobacco segment of LTG is that there's an overall downward trend in smoking sa Philippines. So, smoking trend sa Philippines for the past 5 years, nakalagay dito na around 2009, 29.7%. Tapos, pagdating ng 2021, nasa 19.5% na lang. So, although nagkakaroon siya ng fluctuation, yung overall trend niya talaga is pababa, 'di ba? So talagang bumababa yung overall trend ng smoking sa Philippines. And ano ba yung mga possible reasons nito? Una sa lahat, innovations and different products when it comes to the smoking segment or smoking category, no? So ito lumabas yung mga electronic cigarettes or yung mga vape, 'di ba? So pwede nating masabi na mga young adults are already shifting towards this option, no, na hindi na nila pinipili yung smoking and tobacco specifically, but more on these products, no, na flavored, na mas better yung nakukuha nilang benefits, no. So, syempre magiging direct competitor 'yan ng LTG, no, pagdating sa smoking kasi alternative product nga siya. And bukod dito, it's also possible, no, that people are becoming more health conscious, so lifestyle change. So they decided na babawas sila ng bisyo or hindi na sila magsusmoke, or possible na mas maraming young adults or mga teenagers na nagde-decide na hindi sila magsusmoke or hindi sila magsisigarilyo, no? So basically, the smoking business or smoking segment of LTG is in a double whammy because LTG's share of the pie is decreasing kasi they're decreasing their market share, losing market share from competitors, whether that's JTI or illegal or illicit smoking products, and the overall pie is decreasing. So, lumiliit na nga yung slice nila dun sa pie, lumiliit pa overall yung pie because of the decreasing smoking trend and people shifting to alternatives. Before we talk about the next segment, so I just checked the live count on my subscribers. It's about 1,483 at the date of this recording. So I just wanna say thank you sa mga subscribers, no, sa mga viewers na naging subscribers for continually supporting this channel and helping this channel reach yung goal ko na umabot ng 1,500 to 2,000 by year end. And I also saw the analytics from my channel for the past 28 days and saw that my watch time or yung mga viewers ng channel na to, 55% pa lang yung nakasubscribe and about 45% yung hindi pa nakasubscribe. So, this is a big improvement already kasi last time, nasa around 50% to, no? So, kalahati. So, at least nag-increase na yung subscription viewership by 5%. Tapos, nabawasan na yung hindi pa subscribe. If you're watching this video and have watched my previous videos before, if you're learning a lot and finding value sa video na to and sa channel na to, please make sure to like this video and hit that subscribe button to show your support sa channel na to. So, balik na tayo sa discussion sa video. So, for the third segment, so dito tayo sa alcohol or sa drinking aspect ng LTG's core business. So, Tanduay has around a third ng market share when it comes to spirits, no, distilled spirits or quote, hard drinks. So, of course, the other two is kahit pa hindi ka exposed sa stock market or bago ka pa lang sa stock market, you already know kung ano yung major na kalaban nila. Kung tatanggalin mo yung beer, no? Kung focus lang tayo sa mga distilled spirits or hard drinks. So, of course, walang iba kundi Ginebra San Miguel or GSMI and EMI or Emperador. So, of course, Ginebra is under GSMI, San Miguel Corporation, and Emperador is under Alliance Global or EMI, no? So, earlier, I showed you what the market share looks like for the tobacco segment of LTG. So, ito naman yung overall pie ng distilled spirits sa Philippines. So, we can see that there's actually top 3 players. So, basically, may oligopoly sila. So, Tanduay somehow leading the pack with around 38%. Pero, close second yung Emperador with around 36%. And Ginebra with around 26%, no? Pero, syempre, nagfa-fluctuate din to from time to time. So, you can say that actually Emperador has the top spot or minsan nagiging pantay sila kasi lumalakas yung Ginebra. Or pwedeng mag-increase pa yung sa Tanduay kung mas lesser yung bumibili sa Ginebra or Emperador, no? But we can say na sila talaga yung top 3. So, not that much problem pagdating sa market share kasi simula naman noon, talagang ito talaga yung top 3 na products, no? Siguro yung lamang lang talaga ng Tanduay is pagdating sa mga provinces, lalo na sa Visayas and Mindanao, sila talaga yung top pagdating sa mga brands doon, pagdating sa mga inumin, no? But the thing about the general trends when it comes to alcoholic drinks or drinking sa Philippines, so there's been a general trend towards mindful consumption. So, a 2025 study found that around 42% of Filipino drinkers had reduced their alcohol intake. So, that's significantly higher than the Asia Pacific average, no? The reasons for that includes prioritizing health, so 41%, and reducing spending, 25%. So, ibig sabihin lang nito, no, mas nagiging health conscious yung mga ibang Pilipino, so much like sa smoking. And also, reducing spending, syempre, lifestyle habits, mas ipaprioritize ng ibang tao yung ibang gastusin kaysa magkaroon pa ng bisyo na lagi, no? So, hindi naman sinasabing hindi na sila umiinom, pero they're just going to reduce the consumption, no, pagdating sa drinking. And also, there's been a shift in preference pagdating sa drinking, no? So, there's been a growing interest in premium spirits, cocktail culture, and the emergence of no alcohol or low alcohol options to cater to the sober, curious demographic. So, isa lang sinasabi niyan, no? Talagang bumabawas yung mga manginginom sa Pilipinas. At kung meron mang nag-emerge na trend is that more on sa mga premium products, no? Or sobrang low alcohol or no alcohol at all. So, I've talked about the risks. So, basically, the negatives about LTG. So, syempre, pag-usapan naman natin ngayon yung mga positive catalysts niyan, no? So, una sa lahat, banking. So, napag-usapan natin kanina that BDO and BPI are the top 2 banks in the Philippines. And of course, yung top 3 to 10, somehow debatable kung paano mo sila titingnan. Pero overall, ito yung mga pwedeng magkaroon ng potential na tumaas pa sa rankings, no? Or kahit paano makakuha ng onting market share from BDO and BPI. So earlier I showed you a chart, I showed you a pie chart that illustrates the total assets of these banks. So ngayon, I'm going to illustrate it on a different format naman. Pero same pa rin naman yan. Makikita mo na top 1 pa rin yung BDO and BPI, and PNB nasa top 7 kung titingnan natin sa assets, no? But if we're going to look at this next slide, you'll see that the ranks will change. So we can see that BPI and BDO are still in the top 2, but somehow PNB, from being in the top 7th place in terms of assets, napunta na sa 5, no? So ano bang difference ng slide na to compared dun sa previous? So this is actually ranked based on the net income ng mga banks na to kasabay ng assets nila. So what you're going to see here is very interesting, because if we're going to look at the banks that have trillions in assets, so that includes China Bank with 1.8 trillion, PNB with 1.2, Security Bank with 1.4, RCBC with 1.4, and Union Bank nearing 1 trillion kasi nasa 979 billion. You'll see that PNB actually has a better income relative to their assets compared sa mga banks na to. Kasi isipin mo, yung Security Bank tapos RCBC, mas malaki yung assets nila compared sa PNB, pero yung PNB halos times 2 yung net income. So you'll see that China Bank has larger assets sa PNB. So China Bank has around 1.8 trillion, tapos yung PNB nga 1.3 trillion. Pero if you're going to look at the net income, less than 2 billion lang yung difference nila, no? So this just basically means PNB has been doing good talaga for this past year. That's why it explains yung pagtaas talaga ng stock price, 'di ba? Sabi nga natin nearing 90% yung year-to-date performance. So that also explains why yung China Bank, no, parang pababa siya along with Security Bank and RCBC, lalo na yung Union Bank. So this actually explains also kung bakit yung East-West tapos yung AUB tumaas for 2024-2025, diba? Kasi kung titingnan mo yung assets nila, sobrang liit, pero yung net income nila, no, sobrang ganda compared sa mga peers nila. So this basically means that PNB has been doing well in terms of performance. So kung titingnan natin into assets and net income, parang lumalabas nasa top 5 bank siya sa Philippines. Tapos mukhang kinakalaban niya talaga yung China Bank, no? So pagdating naman sa smoking or tobacco segment ng LTG, sabi ko nga kanina nasa double whammy yung business nila, because LTG share of the pie is decreasing and the overall pie is decreasing as well. So essentially you can say that sales volume has been decreasing, no? But if all of this is happening, bakit nagkaroon ng strong revenue and income yung tobacco segment nila? And the reason for that is because LTG maintained profitability because of pricing power. So ibig sabihin, kahit nag-decrease yung market share nila, tapos nag-fluctuate yung sales volume, mataas pa rin yung income kasi napepresyuhan nila ng mataas yung products nila, no? And of course, the reason for that is because of brand loyalty. So, despite mataas yung price nila compared sa mga competitors, meron dyang mga customers ng PMFTC na walang pakialam pagdating sa price, no, na hindi sila magsusmoke ng mga peke or mga illegal or mga hindi kilalang brands. Tapos, hindi rin nila papatulan yung mga products ng JTI. So, nakafocus lang sila dito sa mga products or mga brands na sanay na talaga sila na ginagamit nila for several years already. So, basically, yung loyal customer base ng PMFTC yung rason kung bakit may maganda pa rin silang income. And for alcohol drinking naman, sabi ko nga kanina, meron silang 38% market share, so leader in terms of that segment or industry sa Philippines. Tapos monopoly status pagdating sa provinces, no, sa Visayas, sa Mindanao. And their earnings actually jumped by 59%. And the reason for that, much like sa smoking segment nila, is meron na rin silang pricing power, no? So due to price increase. So, na-maintain din nila yung profitability because of pricing power, and of course, that's because of brand loyalty. So, isipin mo naman, 'di ba? 70-80% ng buong market sa'yo. So, that just means nakuha nila yung tamang price point, no, tamang marketing, tamang customer base. That's why they're able to maintain yung profitability at income na yun. So, for the third part of this video, technicals. So, let's go to the chart para mapag-usapan natin yung price action ng LTG, kung ano yung mga key levels at kung ano yung mga possible trends na gawin niya in the short term, medium term, and long term. So, andito na tayo sa chart ng LTG. And if we're going to look at the moving averages in order to determine the possible trends in the short term, medium term, and long term, so ilalabas ko muna yung MA20. And we can see that the moving averages are piercing the candles. So that just means one thing, nasa consolidation tayo in the short term. So kitang-kita naman natin since the start of October, yung price ng stock nasa 15. Tapos ngayon, yung price ng stock nasa 14.42. So, hindi siya nagkakalayo. That's why it's in a short-term consolidation. Pag pinalitan ko naman yung moving average ng MA50, we can see na around the third week of October, yung moving averages, nabubutas niya na rin yung mga candles. So, that just means one thing, it's a possibility din na nagtatransition na towards a medium-term consolidation, yung LTG. And if I remove the MA50 and replace it with the MA100 to determine the possible long-term trend of LTG, we can see na it's still in a long-term uptrend, but it's currently hovering above the MA100, which means one thing. Kapag nabutas ng LTG itong MA100, kapag pumunta yung prices dito, it's a possibility na mag-transition yung stock towards a longer term consolidation, or it might signify the end of the long-term uptrend, So, this could mean yung stock pwedeng mahila pababa. So, ayan yung pinapakita sa atin ng mga moving averages ng stock na to. So, in terms of the pattern that's being created by LTG in the short term and medium term, if I remember correctly, I talked about this sa isang stock market analysis video ko, I think second week or third week November, and yung napapansin ko nga na ginagawang pattern ng LTG is a symmetric triangle or symmetrical triangle. So, paano ko ba siya nakita? So, ito kasi yung recent swing high ng LTG. So, this is the point A and this is the point B. So, if I actually just extend this, you'll see na naging resistance itong level na to twice if you establish the upper resistance line here. Tapos, kung ipa-plot mo naman dito sa baba, yung point A, tapos point B, and then you're going to extend it here, makikita mo na last week and this past trading week, itong level na to, yung nag-act as a possible support for LTG, since it's the bottom part of the trend line. Kung napanood nyo yung video na yon, ang sinabi ko lang naman regarding the patterns is that in order to determine the possible upside or downside for a stock if it creates this type of pattern is simply if you're going to plot yung bottom part ng pattern and then the highest part of the pattern, you're just going to plot yung price range na to kung saan magkaroon siya ng breakout. So, assume na nagkaroon ng breakout dito sa LTG. That means yung potential pattern target sana nito is around 16.80, So, depende kasi kung saan mo siya titingnan. Kung nag-breakout sana siya dito, posibleng nasa 16.95 or 17. Kung dito sana siya nag-breakout, pwedeng umabot ng 16.70. So, estimates lang natin yan. And of course, kung merong upside, syempre may downside. And you're just going to do the process in reverse, So, magsisimula ka sa taas, tapos ipa-plot mo yung lowest point, and then pag nagkaroon ng breakdown, dun mo lang ulit ilalagay yung start ng range. So, in this case, kapag natuloy itong breakdown ng LTG, tapos hindi na siya nakarecover at hindi tumaas ng pattern na to, it's a possibility that LTG can reach 12.65 on a price action technical analysis basis only. So, hindi natin sinasabi na dediretso siya dito ngayon because of course, if there are investors or traders out there who would want to buy this stock from 13 to 13.50, syempre hindi na siya aabot ng 12.65, diba? So, ito lang yung sinasabi sa atin based sa pattern. So, if we're going to look at the immediate or short-term support levels of LTG, I can say na very strong support itong 13.80 na level. So, I'm going to label this as a good support line, yung 13.80, which is the point A of the support trend line. And after this level, kung mabutas niya man itong support na to, I can see that there is a possible support here again kasi meron tayong previous na trading range dito. So, ibig sabihin, yung around 13.30, pwede rin mag-act as support to. So, S2 yan. Tapos, yung bottom part ng trading range before, yung possible na S3. So, ibig sabihin, yung pinakaunang support is yung S1, no? So, pagdating naman ngayon sa resistance, ibig sabihin, itong level na to, yung magiging R1, no? Yung around 15.18 na price area. Tapos, syempre, itong 52-week high niya sa 1550, no? Up to 15.60. Ito yung magiging R2. I mentioned earlier na yung potential upside nasa 16.80 if we're going to follow the technical analysis side of things lang. Pero tingnan natin towards the left, no, kung may possible resistance pa ba yung LTG. So it's very clear that we can see a resistance here sa level na yan. So that's around 16.38, 16.39. So syempre magiging R3 to. And there are several swing highs here na we can consider as the multi-year high for the stock. So, syempre, andito tayo sa 17.20 and 17.60 na price level. So, I'm going to consider this level as the R4 resistance range, no? So, ibig sabihin, yung makapal talaga na resistance ng LTG sa ngayon is, of course, yung 52-week high niya, yung R2, tapos yung R4, which is yung 17.21 and 17.60. And what do you notice kung i-zoom out ko yung chart ng LTG? I mentioned earlier, no, i-relate lang natin pagdating sa napag-usapan nating facts and mga speculative things kanina. Nagkaroon ng trend sa smoking and drinking na bumababa for the past few years. So, this drop kasi, yung 2020, of course, we can attribute the reason for that sa COVID, di ba? Tapos, itong 2020 to 2021 is of course the recovery. But as you can see, during this period, ang inabot lang ng LTG again is below 16 or 15.50 na price area. So, that basically means hindi ine-expect ng mga market participants or mga investors noon na babalik yung LTG near 17 price area or even 20 price area nung meron pa siyang mas malaking market share pagdating sa smoking and mas better pa yung performance niya, no, pagdating sa drinking na segment. So basically, for the past 5 years, we can see that LTG has been going inside a very long consolidation. Kasi nga, wala naman masyadong nangyayari, diba? Bumababa pa yung trend ng smoking, tapos drinking, tapos hindi pa naman sobrang nakaka-recover yung economy natin because of the COVID pandemic. So, syempre, hindi rin siya gumagalaw. So, nito lang, no, nung around second half ng 2024, tapos, buong 2025 na tumaas ulit yung stock. And, of course, the reason for that is because ang ganda nga talaga nung galaw ng PNB and yung mga napag-usapan natin when it comes to the net income ng PMFTC tapos ng Tanduay, diba? So, what this means is that ang naging driver talaga ng LTG group nitong 2025 is yung galaw talaga ng PNB, no? And of course, the reason for that is because, gaya ng sabi ko kanina, nearly 60% yung ownership ng LTG sa PNB, no? So, ang kailangan abangan dito sa LTG is yung pinakita ko kanina, yung MA100. So, LTG needs to reclaim yung area ng triangle na to. So, at a minimum, kailangan bumalik siya sa level na to tapos hindi niya mabutas yung MA100, no? Kasi, pag nabutas niya yung MA100, most likely, ang next na support itong S1. And pag nabutas niya itong S1, mas tumataas lang yung chance na ma-revisit niya again itong S2 and S3 support along with the possible price pattern target dito sa 1265. So, in the event naman na magkaroon ng bullishness yung LTG, ang kailangan niya talagang gawin is to make a breakout dito sa triangle na to and kahit man lang mag-above siya ng 15.17 na price area tapos hindi na siya pumunta sa ilalim, no? Because that would mean na posibleng naka-cancel out or kaya niya nang i-negate yung ginagawang triangle pattern sa chart, no? And you could also say na bumubuelo lang yung LTG, naglalaro lang siya dito sa much bigger rectangular consolidation na ginagawa niya, tapos bumubuelo eventually para makapag-breakout ng R2. Pero syempre, if the market is gonna go lower, tapos walang masyadong fundamental catalyst for LTG specifically, then I don't see na makakapag-breakout pa siya sa 52-week high in the short term. And of course, kung mangyari man yung 52-week high breakout, I can see that it can encounter strong selling pressure sa levels na to, yung R3 and R4, tapos potentially sa 16.80 kasi ayun nga yung possible price pattern target niya kung susundin pa rin niya yung ginagawa ng move ng triangle pattern, no? So before we go to the next part of this video, you might have noticed na yung chart ng LTG, wala pa yung mga candles na currently andito ngayon sa date na to, sa pag-publish ng video na to publicly. It's because I've recorded this video several days ago na merong early access or exclusive access yung mga members ng channel na to who are part of the private community and private group. So currently, there are actually 3 membership options for this channel, which include Compounding Crew, Traders Table, and Market Masters. And yung mga nababasa nyo dito sa what's included are actually the benefits, no, when you join any of these membership tiers. So sa tier 1, you can already have early access to the goodbye or goodbye videos. And as you move along sa membership tiers, syempre mas malaki yung mga benefits and mas marami yung perks at exclusive videos na pwede nyong makuha. So if you're interested to join the membership group of this channel, you can send an email sa mga email address na nakikita nyo dito sa taas and just simply provide these 3 details sa email nyo, tapos ilagay nyo lang yung subject na membership. So balik na tayo ulit sa discussion. So we've already discussed the facts, the speculation part of things, and the technicals. So, pag-usapan na natin ngayon yung conclusion or kung anong tingin ko sa LTG. So, in the short term to medium term, I'd be interested to buy LTG if there are trade setups that are available because sa ginalaw ng stock ngayon at kung gaano na siya kataas, no, also looking at the charts of other stocks, I can see that the only reason kung bakit ako papasok sa LTG for the short term is not because of a fundamental thing or a speculative thing, but more of a technical analysis standpoint, no? So basically, pag may nakita lang akong trading setup na available, saka lang ako papasok dyan for the short term or the medium term. Pero, pagdating naman sa usapang long term, I need LTG to actually fulfill different parameters or metrics for me to become incentivized na bumili ng position sa kanila for the long term. So, una sa lahat, pagdating sa banking, I think PNB needs to take more market share from other banks. And of course, I can see that happening if nag-reflect yung galaw ng chart ng PNB. And also, for some reason, pwedeng other banks are mismanaged. So, stock market participants decide to choose PNB instead, kagaya ng napag-usapan ko kanina, di ba? Relative sa assets na meron yung PNB compared sa SecB and RCBC and China Bank as well, talagang mukhang na-outperform nila, no, in terms of management. And syempre, if PNB continues the trend of good management relative to its peers. Pagdating naman sa PMFTC, sa tobacco segment nila, so I think PMFTC needs to take more market share from competitors, no. So basically, kung kaya nilang mas kunin pa yung bigger slice ng pie sa JTI at somehow mag-increase yung market share nila na from 47%, no, kahit hindi man nila maabot yung 70% na yun, pero mapakita nila na kaya nilang lagpasan yung more than 47% market share, then that could definitely be enticing for me to trade LTG for a more long-term position. And also, if government cracks down on illegal products, kasi isipin mo, diba? 15%, nearly 20% yung posibleng market share na makuha nitong mga illicit or illegal products na to. So, if mawawala yun, no, kahit ma-decrease man lang less than 10%, 5 to 10%, so isipin mo, diba? Yung 10 to 15% na market share na yun, pwede pang makuha ng PMFTC, diba? And also, if they are able to create more innovative products, kung mas mahatak pa talaga nila yung mga nagde-decide na pumunta sa alternative products, no, mapa-increase nila yung adoption pagdating doon sa mga new products nila, then that could be a good fundamental reason kung paano mag-improve yung tobacco segment ng LTG. And for the alcohol segment, although Tanduay is already one of the top players pagdating sa market share ng distilled spirits, I'd like to see na mas maging competitive pa sila, no? Kasi ngayon, yung monopoly nila nasa Visayas and Mindanao, no? So, I need to see them getting more market share from the Luzon area and maintaining yung status nila pagdating sa provinces sa Visayas and Mindanao. And also, gaya nga ng sabi ko kanina, there's already a decrease in the trend when it comes to alcohol drinking. So, there's a shift towards premium drinks, no? Not just yung mga drinks na para sa low end or para sa masa, para sa mass market. So somehow, I'd like to see that they're able to become innovative, na makapag-offer sila ng mga premium products so that, again, magkaroon sila ng increased adoption sa mga bagong products nila. Tapos, hindi lang sila nakaasa solely dun sa Tanduay na rum brand. So, for me, on a price action basis, I think the upside is limited to around 1650 and max na yung 18 na price area. And the reason for that is because if LTG just maintains its status, no, or improves a little bit compared to its current price range, ayan yung nakikita kong upside niya. So para sa akin, sobrang optimistic na pag umabot pa sila ng 20 kasi kung babalikan nyo nga yung pinag-usapan ko sa chart, even before the fast recovery nung 2021, ang inabot lang nila na price 15, no? So hindi na siya umabot ng 17 kasi during that period, ayun pa yung time na sobrang lakas pa nung mga segments ng LTG. So, very optimistic scenario na kapag na-reach pa nila yung 20 na walang masyadong difference pagdating sa performance nila or walang masyadong difference sa products na ginagawa nila or walang nagbagong trend sa mga napag-usapan ko kanina. So, essentially, kung wala silang mapapakitang drastic, no, or sobrang lakas na improvement or change sa business, no, hindi ko siya nakikitang lalagpas ng 20. And of course, pagdating naman sa downside or sa negative scenario, so napakita ko na yung mga possible na puntahan ng price in terms of the price action or chart pattern targets. But I think if mag-worsen somehow yung situation nila, I can see that the downside can go to 12 to 13 pesos. And sobrang worst case scenario na kapag umabot sila ng 10.50 to 11 na price area, no? So how about you guys? No? What do you think about LTG? You can share your thoughts sa comment section. And if you want to watch my other videos talking about specific stocks for goodbye or goodbye videos, you can click towards the right. So ayun lang, don't forget to like this video and subscribe sa channel na to. Thank you so much for watching this video.